I think at the moment, AI will be very helpful in disseminating knowledge, but may not be very helpful creating knowledge. That's what university major function in a society. We are creating knowledge, not only disseminating knowledge.
Welcome to another episode of the AI Purity Podcast, the show where we explore the intersection of artificial intelligence and the pursuit of truth. I'm your host, Patricia, and today we have a distinguished guest joining us, someone whose global perspective and wealth of experience in academia make him a fascinating voice in the conversation about the role of AI in education. Dr. William X Wei is not just a professor and a university administrator, he's a trailblazer who has left his mark on the higher education landscape across 3 continents and 4 countries. With a strong foundation in international economics and management, Dr. Wei brings a unique perspective to the table. At Algoma University, he has played a pivotal role in shaping the academic journey of students and navigating the evolving landscape of higher education. His skills in instructional design, facilitation, and fundraising have made him a sought-after expert in the field. Today, we're diving into a crucial conversation about the implications of AI on academia, and we'll be exploring the transformative potential of AI in education, discussing ethical considerations, and gaining insights from Dr. Wei's experiences and observations. Before we delve into the discussion, a quick reminder to our listeners, if you enjoy our episodes, please subscribe, leave a review, and share your thoughts on social media. Now let's jump into the conversation. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. William Wei.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction. I'm very delighted to join you on this opportunity. Thank you.
We're so happy that you're here. How are you doing today?
Yeah, very good. A lot of meetings online, seriously speaking.
That's great.
Yeah.
We really appreciate your time. From the whole team at AI Purity, we appreciate you coming on our platform. At AI Purity, our services, and to our core, we really wanted to place ourselves at the forefront of upholding academic integrity,
Mhm.
which is why we
Yes.
created an AI text detection tool. And
Okay.
we feel like we have a social responsibility to advocate the ethical and responsible use of AI. So that's why we wanted to speak with educators to hear their side and share their insights as to how we can all move forward in this new world where the use of artificial intelligence is becoming the new norm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I received an email talking about some of the exams, student using ChatGPT for getting answers.
Mhm.
Those online exam can be very critical. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So before we start talking about artificial intelligence, could you share your journey and experiences in the field of international economics and management that led you to your current position at Algoma University?
For sure. I just joined Algoma last year from Vancouver, and also I spent some time with Alberta, with McEwen University and Markham University in Vancouver. So for the past 15 years, I've been university administrators, department chairs, professors, and also in different roles as director of a research institute. And previously, I did my PhD and also master's in Germany and Ireland. So quite a few different places I went with different universities and different continents. And this new challenging of artificial intelligence in post-secondary is quite a new experience to me. Thank you.
Wow, and you've probably dealt with a lot of students throughout your career. And given that extensive
Mhm.
experience, how have you seen the landscape of higher education evolve throughout the years?
Yes. Previously, I still remember when the time I studied in Germany, we use a lot of PowerPoint projectors, and we use a lot of, that at that time, advanced technology, including emails, online tools. But today, you can easily work remotely. You can attend classes, virtually, either it's a hybrid or in person, and you can also attend your exam, uh, you know, uh, using virtual tools. So this is a big revolutionary change in university setting, particularly in post-secondary, how you evaluate your students. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I think that was like further
thank you.
exacerbated, during the pandemic, there was no really a choice. We had to adapt. And now I feel like, the technology has been like really extensive and it's just started to boom in this way. In your opinion, what
Mhm.
role does AI play in shaping the future of academia, especially in terms of like teaching and research?
I think here are several differences when you're talking about AI and its application for post-secondary. Basically, that affects everybody in the university sector, from professors, faculty members, those are full-time sessional members, from the people from the industry, from the student side, and also staff side. And I think for larger research comprehensive university in Canada and across the world, there's a lot of discussion on how to use the technology to advance, the topic, the discipline, in terms of delivery. But for a teaching-oriented university like us, is more on academic integrity, academic dishonesty, how we can prevent using those artificial intelligence, in a positive, like prevent it using a negative way, but promote it using a positive way. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's also what we're trying to pioneer exactly here at AI Purity, teaching people to be socially responsible of using artificial intelligence because I don't think it's going away anytime soon, to be honest. But on the
Yes.
flip side, as a university administrator, how do you see AI impacting the administrative processes in higher education institutions?
Yes, from the administrative side, obviously we receive more, concerns from the faculty members, and also the borderline of using technology, particularly AI functions, assessing assignment, looking at how to conduct exams, how to proctor exams, and how to evaluate their teaching effectiveness. For example, a lot of times students submit their assignment, they may not want to tell you that it actually was assisted by AI tools to finish those assignments. So you have to be very prudent on those kind of, potential risks when you're assessing students' assignment.
Absolutely. In your classrooms, I'm not sure if AI has been integrated into the classrooms. I know we know that students are using it on their own voluntarily, but how do you see AI in education and student learning experiences in your observation?
I think from the student's perspective, obviously they have multiple ways of using and employ the universe in terms of the AI tools, and also make their assignment and exam more successful, in terms of getting a better grade. But from those kind of angle, it's not only the artificial intelligence as assistant in their learning, but also how we prevent those misconducts happening. So from our perspective, we want actually more AI assistant tool being used during the study period, not only just for the exams, but throughout the semester. I think we will encourage students to explore the ways of how AI can help them, but we want to restrict some of the use of those technology when we have official exams and also when they're submitting their assignment. So there is always a boundary line we have to really look at.
Thank you for that. If there are actually any like initiatives or projects at Algoma University where AI has been implemented into the school or like in classrooms, could you share about those? Could you highlight those special initiatives if you have any? And do you think it enhances the educational outcomes?
Yes, I think in Algoma we have a special committee looking at technology use in classrooms, particularly the assessing of students, grades. And we also have people leading, particularly from different faculties, looking at the teaching and learning piece of using artificial intelligence. And I think we also drafting our very first policy on that, and it's not coming out yet, but we are looking at a direction in policy in terms of process and procedure, how we identify the contradicting and also challenging piece of using AI, not only in the regular class activity, but obviously looking at the long-term strategy of using it in academic field.
Absolutely. And speaking about challenges in the context of AI and education, what ethical considerations and challenges do you believe are most critical to address?
One of the big challenges I found interesting is the how you write your articles and through the traditional way of referencing different sources. For example, today, if you're using a highly advanced ChatGPT first version, you can actually put into a picture or image and then ask the ChatGPT GPT write an article for you. And those kind of interesting result coming from using artificial intelligence is very, in a way that's shocking and also effective. And it will be very useful for professionals such as copy editors, such as professional writers. But how you allow students using those kind of technology, and most of the time you have to pay using some part of the technology is a question mark to us. So in terms of the impact into daily teaching activity, into the daily learning experience is pretty critical because students can get artificial intelligence as a very effective tool in their study and learning experience, and how faculty member, professors, jump into that role. Comparing with the traditional way of the learning the class, the lecture, is very challenging. So you need actually new faculty member to be trained understanding all the availability of those kind of applications, and same time looking at how to integrating those applications into your daily teaching activity.
Thank you. And we're talking about the downsides of AI here and the use of it among students, but how do you think can AI be leveraged to address these challenges of internalization in higher education?
I think there's a lot of positive side of using AI. For example, it delivers things fast, and normally it can give you a very general, comprehensive idea. But one of the interesting dimension of which AI cannot replace human being is that although in several different sectors, such as health, such as education, such as accounting and finance, it was widely used today in the industry. But one thing on the innovative side of the human capability cannot be really replaced by AI. And the other issue of artificial intelligence is that they basically produce things based on, a lot of collection of the historical data. And some of those data may not be 100% true. If you ask ChatGPT a question, which actually hasn't happened yet, and they may give you an answer, but based on the clue where they can find it online. But those cannot be realistic answers because a lot of those kind of questions may not happening yet. But AI can produce an answer for you based
Mhm.
on their database and what they collected. But I think the judgment of human being on whether this is a real or unreal, or whether this is a misinformation or whether this is a disinformation is very critical, and that cannot be placed by artificial intelligence.
That's actually
Thank you.
perfect for the next question because, like you said, sometimes ChatGPT or these other large language model chatbots aren't always generating accurate answers. What are your thoughts on the
Mhm.
potential biases and ethical concerns associated with AI algorithms in educational settings?
Yes, I would say the very first challenging is on cross-cultural learning. For example, if you are in English platform, you probably have a set of questions put onto the AI, and they give you a set of answers, which is basically going to English audience, and primarily those people using English as a working language. But if you go into other different languages, maybe Arabic, maybe Asian languages, and you might have the same question, you might have a different size of answers based on the cultural differences. So those kind of interesting differences, I don't think artificial intelligence have a sensitive way of detecting it, and also, in a way that they can, artificial intelligence can really, to analysis those kind of differences and find the common rules for those kind of answers, and also the major differences of those and the answers, and only the differences, the diverse differences of answers actually create more opportunities over there. I don't think artificial intelligence can really detect that. For example, if you say yes in different cultures, it can be different things. And if you nod your head in different cultures, can also be in different things. There's a cultural implications, and I don't think the machine can really, detect that at this moment.
I totally agree. And with those challenges, from your perspective, how can universities strike a balance between embracing AI technologies and maintaining the human touch in education?
Yes, I think there are several ways. Maybe in our foundation courses, I'm not sure how far primary school and middle school are using AI today, but I suppose students are very familiar with those kind of tools. I would say maybe in our foundation course, first year and second years, we can widely use those kind of tools. But when students reaching to the third and fourth year, particularly going to some of the capstone courses, going to the real applied world, they can refrain from using technology and going back to the traditional model a little bit. And otherwise, we can also using a hybrid way of doing it. Some of the courses, for example, in accounting and finance, you probably want to use a lot of AI tools because the industry is actually calling for that. But in communication, in other courses, in international business, maybe you don't really want to use a lot of artificial intelligence, and all depends on the discipline and also the field of the study. And I think we do need a kind of holistic picture to look at our curriculum mapping and how far each of the course, each of the discipline, each of the subject can be integrated with AI tool, and when is the best way of integrating it, either from the very beginning of the course or until student reaching a higher level of the courses. But I do believe you need a strategy to combine all those kind of possibilities.
That's a really great insight. And speaking about like being specific about which disciplines can integrate AI, as a researcher, have you explored any specific areas where AI has significantly contributed to advancements in international economics and management specifically?
Yes, I think as far as business and management concerns, there's already some of the interesting driving forces to create more courses using AI, existing tools. And also in terms of communicating, in terms of, finding quick answers, you use a lot of AI deploying opportunities. I would say in accounting and finance, AI is widely used. In marketing, certainly is going to that direction. Recently, I read an article talking about somebody invented an AI tool, and they can using different ways of producing videos and pictures, and it actually replacing some of the director's role in filming. Because AI can automatically generating multiple ways to describe the same theme and give you ultimate and multiple solutions for one answer, and so that you can just release your workload and then find whatever way of most suitable for your solution. So in other disciplines, as I said, for example, in supply chain management, in blockchain, AI is also widely used. So I would say AI is more maybe in a way that can be used in the quantitative approach, but relatively less for the qualitative approach when you do the business and economic analysis. And particularly as a manager, when we train their decision-making capabilities, when they facing different issues, how they make a decision, and how they analysis based on analytical tools such as either quantitative or qualitative, and reaching different alternatives and make decisions in a way that's favorable for business development. AI cannot really make kind of that. It can train managers, but they cannot make decision for the managers. So I would believe a lot of decision making process, a lot of decision related issues, AI cannot really replace human being in those kind of directions. For example, when you look at a case study of a real scenario, normally you have discussions, you have debate, you have deliberates of different solutions. AI can replace those places where you can have a discussion, you can have, a kind of, in a way that debate, but not normally they give you an answer, but you have to have the way of, choose whatever way you want to make a decision. So AI might have difficulty to really analysis those kind of functions.
And in your experience, how can AI support or enhance the process of instructional design in higher education?
Today, particularly after the COVID time, online activity, online learning are more welcome by the general, student body and community. It used to be online degrees may not be valued as
Mhm.
same as in-person degrees, but today, if you go to a lot of MBA programs, they might have a higher enrollment for online, programs than the regular in-person programs. Oh, they might have a combination of both. You do part of the work online and then you get together to do it in person. So I would believe a lot of virtual learning, a lot of long distance learning, people from different time zones learn together. Those kind of environments, AI will play a very big role. Even in person, you can deliver courses as a hybrid way, and you have some students facing you in the classroom, and you can have other group of students joining virtually. So then you need, to use the AI function to bring the technological in your classroom. So I think those kind of opportunities to reaching your students remotely, to reaching your industry you want to study remotely, to reaching the community remotely will be facilitated with AI tools very easily.
Besides using AI to leverage and using that for remote teaching, what other success stories or positive outcomes have you witnessed where AI has been transformative or had an impact on academic processes?
One of the key of artificial intelligence is for example, when we write a journal article, normally we need to do extensive literature review, and it's very time consuming, and potentially you have to hire maybe research assistant helping you to survey the articles and to get a basic abstracts and conclusions and finding the methodology and finding the linkage and literature gap among different publications before. I definitely believe AI can play a key role in finishing your work quickly when you do a literature review. But how you improve in the future when you identify your methodology, you identify your research question, and when you do your interview and getting the data collection part, obviously AI can also help you to do that. And I would say finishing an article, particularly in the academic side, it can be fastened by the AI tools. So that's one of the very positive for professors and faculty members to using AI.
And what advice would you give those other teachers and faculty members and administrations looking to integrate AI into their institutions effectively?
Okay, I would believe it's very important you put AI into your daily discussion. I think that's very important, unless some surprising things happening at the very last. And most of the time, we look at the traditional ways of teaching and learning, and there's some very valuable things in the traditional way of learning and teaching methods. For example, discussion, case studies, field work, those kind of traditional ways. Basically, that's cause for interaction in a real situation between human beings and real interaction in terms of human participation. But how you integrate machine learning and the role of AI in an environment that not only facilitating your teaching experience and facilitating the student learning experience, but how you use it effectively and transparently is very important. So I would recommend faculty members thinking about using AI in every course and thinking about it bi-weekly in their course studies and their learning materials, because you cannot prevent students of using it, and you better integrate those learning functions of AI into your classroom. And you have to prepare it quickly and respond to what the students call for actions. It's very important.
And as educators continue to slowly integrate AI into the classrooms, do you believe there's a current risk or there will be a risk of over reliance in AI in academia? And if so, how can institutions mitigate this risk?
Yes, 100%. I think this is not going to the education sector. It's actually applied to every sector, right? How AI replacing human beings, how AI replacing the experience part of human interaction, and how AI might leading human beings to in a way that more controversial things can happening. And I do believe we have to look at those kind of issues, particularly on the if you look at back from 5 or 10 years later. For example, when the website coming out, when you write a journal article at that time, relying on most of reference of books and other printed materials, you don't really reference a lot of website information because people will think that it's not reliable. But today, most of the knowledge, most of the data, most of the observation actually coming from online tools. So I was thinking after 10 or 20 years, when you're looking back, some of the things you have to prepare earlier and how you integrate fully function of the artificial intelligence in the teaching and learning experience for students. So universities has to be reacting very proactively to those kind of solutions, either from the administrator like me or from the professor side, even from the staff and the student side.
And in a grander scale outside the classrooms, how do you perceive the role of AI in addressing global challenges and fostering international collaboration in research and education?
Yes. Well, one of the key is that the AI will be basically based on the larger users' data collection, and you have certain country like China and India, they have a mass population, and they might have a loose policies on using AI or in whatever way. For example, digital payments is widely used in Asian countries in some of the larger economies, and comparing with some of the practice here on the financial sector of using artificial intelligence, reaching out to your customer, for example, this is another example. There are a lot of cultural variance. There's a lot of sizing in different of economy variance. So we have to be very prudent on that. In Canada and in North America, how we compete with other countries is also an issue. And in some other countries using advanced technology and artificial intelligence in different sectors, maybe driving, automatic driving, maybe in terms of transportation tools in using AI, and it's very advanced. But certainly, some of the part may not be applicable here in North America or in the Canadian case. But we have to be very alert on those kind of direction, particularly when you're comparing capability and comparing, the outcome of your delivery of your education on the post-secondary sector. I think there's a lot of country differences, and also there's a lot of cultural differences.
Dr. Wei, you're an expert in instructional design. How do you think AI can contribute to the personalization of education to meet the diverse needs of these students?
Yes, for example, well, we have traditional classroom. We also have classroom tailored to physical challenged people. In this world, there's a lot of people who have disability in different ways. Some have physical challenge disability. Some might have learning disability. Some have, the inherited genetic, disability in learning. I think AI will play a role in that and significantly help in terms of learning to different audience. particularly in some rural areas, for example. Also in terms of applying those kind of AI tools in different industries is also very critical. So I think if you comparatively speaking, in Canada, where in post-secondary, we are facing a lot of using of AI widely, but how you access the quality of using AI is another question. Because generally speaking, if you write a sentence, if you ask a question with ChatGPT, they can give you a very standard answer. And those answers evolving every day, right? And with new data collected. But how you foresee and how far these answers are useful is a question. Because I heard a lot of from academic talking about, okay, you can ask a question from ChatGPT, that if you really dig up into the depths and the whys of the knowledge, and also on the innovative part of solution, those kind of AI cannot really function as human being.
And what are your views on
Thank you.
the responsibility of educators and institutions in educating students about AI ethics and its implications?
I think we have to start from very early. I guess in junior and senior high school, they have their different rules of using artificial technology, and we also have as a post-secondary, worker in the university and colleges as professors. We need to communicate with those sectors in the post-secondary school teachers and basically get an understanding of what is going on in their classroom using artificial technology, and so that we can give a consistent message, and we can, based on what the students experience from their high school, reaching out to the university level and understanding their habits of using AI and the way of evaluating those students. Because I guess students already starting using it from even before they get into university study, right? So we need to also understand what they were learned before and what is the automatic way of basically in post-secondary want to create more knowledge, not only disseminating knowledge. I think at the moment, AI will be very helpful in disseminating knowledge, but may not be very helpful while in a fully holistic way of creating knowledge. I think that's what university major function in a society. We are creating knowledge, not only disseminating knowledge.
That's beautifully put, Dr. Wei. And in your opinion, how do you think AI Purity's AI text detection tool can contribute to maintaining the integrity of online academic content? Because we're creating a tool that is basically can say whether the text is AI generated, human written, or now there has a new feature where it can even tell you if it's AI generated that's been paraphrased. So how do you think this will like benefit classrooms and educational settings all around the world?
I think it's definitely beneficial because of, in terms of cost-oriented activities, is reduce the cost significantly. And but certainly there's also, as I previously said, there's a lot of information and disinformation related with that. For example, during our talk, you can definitely record it, and based on the voice and the way of speaking I have, you can probably generate quite a different topic and quite a different scenario, and it 100% may not be me and realistically what I said, but you probably can generate through AI technological tools say, okay, this is what William May said, but actually it may not happening, right? This kind of thing happens a lot in the industry, in political affairs, in other, industries. It's very interesting, obviously, and I think audience has to have a way of distinguish what is real and what is unreal and what is fake and what kind of result oriented from those kind of fake news or disinformation, misinformation. I think there must be some detecting tools. There must be some way of double check before some images and some of the audio materials going out, and it's pretty dangerous if misinformation, disinformation become true. Then most of the audience cannot. They may have a way of distinct, and also find, but they may most of the time they don't have time to really look into it. So as a post-secondary educator, as an organization like your guys, will play a key role to helping the audience to distinguish them and also to be more smart on those kind of information.
Precisely. And detecting AI and trying to distinguish what is AI generated text, you're also going to be reliant on other AI detection tools such as our tools. But what do you think are the challenges and the criticisms there that you foresee in the development and the use of AI detection tools in professional and academic settings, especially since earlier we were talking about how these AI tools aren't always 100% accurate?
Yes, I don't think anything is 100% accurate. It's always depending on the angle of looking at the things and the tendency, your analysis, and also what kind of fundamental direction and basically decision-related issues, particularly to the business setting. That's the valuable part. So I wouldn't say 100% either using AI or without using AI. So I would say the best part of looking at using some of the detecting tools is that it will be very helpful for post-secondary educators to specifically prevent cheating and academic dishonesty happening wildly, and also addressing some of the immediate issues in the classroom, how you can effectively deliver your teaching material and at the same time assessing your teaching effectiveness. I think those kind of detecting tools will be very helpful. It shouldn't give an accurate answer. It will, I think, a tendency or kind of a basic understanding of the using of it and what are the consequences is bringing in will be very useful instead of just give an accurate estimation. Thank you.
And how important is it for educators and researchers to be aware of the potential traces of AI and misinformation in online content and even in the papers that their students submit?
Yes, I think there's before Chat GPT was widely used, there is a rumor that the scientists are basically using machine learning generated an research article, maybe in different scientific topic, maybe in biology whatsoever, and they submitted it into a journal and with a fake affiliation and fake name. And that editor of that journal, which is quite a prestigious journal, actually reviewed the article was not written by a human being, but written by a machine, and then go through revision and resubmission several times with the machine, and eventually got accepted. So that's actually a joke in academic because machine actually write a better article than regular academics and regular scientists. But how we detect that, how we prevent those kind of things happening, because that's not a real person, but real person did it through machine learning, right? So I would say the most important is that we cannot hide of it. We have to be openly discussed among academics. We have to be also learning the best practice from other institutions. I know, for example, in University of Toronto, they already have potential policies on those AI functions in the post-secondary. So it's very important to have those kind of conversation from the very early age and to learn from our peers, particularly those larger institutions, has to also take responsibility how they direct faculty members, students, staffs, and community looking at the participation of using AI in the regular learning and studying process. Because eventually, as you said, we cannot prevent this happening, and we have to embrace it and make it a better way of use technology.
So that's made me kind of curious. So when you have students and you maybe you check any of their essays or maybe you see any of their work is AI generated, what are the consequences for these students?
Well, certainly, it depends on very much of the course professor to detect it.
Mhm.
I think if I receive some of notice of offenses from using technology, particularly during the exams, and they try. Some of them are actually open book exams, but we still don't allow students using those AI tools during the open book exam. So this is our bottom line, and you can reference something in a traditional printed material in some of the the knowledge you've gained from other sources, but you cannot rely on Chat GPT to answer your question. And the important part is that you can use some online searching functions to collect your data, to be more familiar with the topic and write up an answer, but you don't directly ask some tools and give you a direct answer and produce everything to you. So that's some of the bottom line professors are already doing in their classroom during their exam, looking at their assignment. So I think that's the very bottom line. What we ask our students from not doing it.
And in what ways do you think AI detection tools, other companies, maybe like AI Purity, how can we support academic institutions in ensuring that the credibility of information shared within online communities, and how do we bridge this gap, and how do we stop students from using AI in a wrong way?
Yes. I think you guys coming from the industry and you are using those kind of softwares or whatever, developing those capability to detect AI assisting, assignment results from the exam. Probably there is a need of a bigger picture and bigger conversation circle among professors, students, university administrators, with people like you. So we need to potentially sit together. We can identify some of the persistent and intimidating issues of using AI, particularly in evaluating students. And you guys have a better understanding of cross universities, cross education institutions, how each of these dealing with. And we can put the resources together. And certainly, a company like you, organization like you can help a lot in terms of training our faculty members, in terms of also, providing some of the solutions for us.
Thank you for that. And what recommendations would you provide to institutions aiming to create policies around the ethical use of AI in academia?
I think it has to be wildly representative when they're creating a policy. And it's also specifically differences among different universities. Some larger institutions, they have a different interpretation and different way of looking at it. And they more, my guess is that they are more positively looking at how AI can help with research. AI can help with producing and creating knowledge, and how AI can effectively help delivery courses, particularly long distance and virtual courses. For teaching institution like us, potentially a lot of uh, uh, emphasis might be on evaluation of students, delivery models, delivery challenges, and also how we prevent those massive of AI in the classroom in a way that creating a better learning and teaching experience to the students. So there is a need, obviously, also those research institutions and also teaching institutions or institutions in between get together to talk about it. Because normally some of the things happening in smaller institutions might be a little bit different than larger institution. And there is also discipline specific. For example, today, you probably can use AI very easily to generate a piece of music. And how that, relate with music professors, way of delivering courses or education, we don't have quite a clue because there's a lot of discipline differences. So we need a lot of conversation among disciplines. In other more creative, driven industries and also subject, maybe, even painting, you can have AI generated pictures, right? Very easily, and it's more soundable and more, impressive and human creation. But how you really look at those values is another question.
We were talking about like teaching students how to be responsible with their use of AI and talking amongst other educators and even talking amongst other disciplines about how to properly use AI in education. Do you think there should be a more global conversation about this? Do you think it's like a pressing issue that we should address right now?
100% needs a global discussion on that. And I said there's also a lot of geographic and cultural differences. I heard some of the comments, for example, in universities traditionally, maybe in Europe. For example, there's a lot of formal majors in translation. For example, if you are a German university, you might have majors in English studies, translation studies, not only in the language of English, but maybe in French, in Spanish, a lot of Eastern European country languages, right? Because when the European Union have meetings, you have multiple, more than 20 or 30 official languages using in those kind of settings. Traditionally, university might have a department of language studies, and students have to learn different languages. A German student has to learn French. A French student has to learn English, obviously. Spanish students have to be acquainted with Italian, those kind of things, but may not be that important today anymore because of the AI widely used in translation, in interpretation. So how those kind of disciplines can progress? Because a lot of language learning is not only the language itself, it's actually integrated with cultural learning. And how, interpreting tools or translating tools can help with the cultural understanding. Maybe a poem written by Shakespeare, when it's translated into a German language, the tones and experience when the audience hears may be quite different from the original English piece, right? So those kind of things we have to really discuss based on, as you said, geographical differences, cultural differences, as what we discussed, and also disciplinary differences. This is only one interesting thing on looking at translation, but other, for example, discipline as medical doctors, lawyers, healthcare workers, and all will be impacted by using artificial intelligence. And how you value those kind of work is very questionable.
Thank you for that answer. And how do you think AI technologies assist in fundraising efforts for educational institutions? And have you seen any successful examples of this?
Well, it is challenging in a way that obviously you can using AI tools to reach out massive audience and massive receivers who want to you want to reach out for your fundraising activities. Well, it always depends on the commitment of the potential donors to your institution. I don't have a lot of comments on the fundraising things, but I do see a lot of potential funds coming from industry sectors and sponsor universities to look at specifically industry needs. As I said, for example, accounting and finance, they are hugely used AI assisting tools today in their industry. So basically, you cannot find anybody today as a content or text expert working in a regular office in downtown Toronto. Most of the time, they might be just working from home in Mississauga, in other places, right? They don't necessarily travel to their workplace. So those kind of effective usage of artificial intelligence in their daily work, generating reports, generating data analysis, results are widely used. So how we can, looking at industry how and educate university professors and also integrating in their classroom and linking with the industry needs of using AI is very critical here because our basic approach is that we want to prevent massive of using AI in the classroom, but the industry may call just opposite. They want to massive use of AI to reduce cost in their daily operation. So this can be a contradictory phenomenon, and how you balance this is very critical.
Thank you. And in your opinion, what are the key skills that students should develop in order to thrive in an increasingly AI-driven academic and professional landscape?
I think in university we emphasize a lot of critical thinking, and that's still very valuable. And also on top of that, business need a lot of responsible players and a lot of proactive decision players and a lot of ethical business leaders. So those are the functions of maybe in other ways that more innovative business models will be created. So innovation, technology, entrepreneurship, cultural sensitivity, in terms of, question and critical thinking and find a solution and basically make a decision and also take the responsibility of some of the business practice is very important. Those are the functions AI cannot replace human being. And so that's what we want to train our students to be.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And looking ahead, how do you envision the continued evolution of the relationship between AI technologies and academia?
I think academia is always very advanced in different sectors. And for example, the most important and influential AI expert normally not only fall into the technological competence, but actually fall into the ethical piece of it, and also fall into the cross-culture aspects of it. So I think there is a call for academics not only looking at the technological developments of using AI, but look at the social impact, economic impact, legal impact of using AI. So that's something we need a heated discussion because only focus on the technological part is not enough. It will eventually bring a lot of social contradictions, a lot of political, disturbance, a lot of economical consequences, as far as a lot of legal results. So all these other considerations are more regulated in the human society, which we cannot neglect from using machine. But certainly, one of the analogy people always use is that before the Industrial Revolution, when the automobile was invented, people using horsing powers, dragging a horse wagon, they 100% doesn't like automobile. They will say automobile will easily kill people, right? And when you're on the road, and when you run the animal is more safer. So those are the discussions 200 years ago, 300 years ago. But today, nobody will say you better riding a horse is safer than driving a car. So in the future, well, right now the discussion is that when you're using automobile to driving automatically, it may not be safe for driving as a human being. But what about 20 years later, the discussion topic might be very different. So my position is that we need those kind of a conversation, not only on the technical part, but also on the social, on the legal, political part, and particularly economic part of the discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Wei. And just one last question. Would you be open or interested in using AI detection tools such as AI purity in your classrooms?
I don't think there's now a way of not using it. I think the other piece I didn't mention in academic is that academic freedom. That applies to using of artificial intelligence. I do cherish some of our professors might be just using the traditional ways of teaching and evaluating their students. That's their choice. If they found there's a value of doing it, certainly they can continue doing that. But somehow the student will make them change. The society will make them change. And there's a lot of those considerations. We should be very open to use of those tools. And on the other hand, academic freedom is very important. So I will let the professors in classroom design instead of administrator tell them to do what.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wei. On behalf of the whole team here at AI Purity, we thank you for gracing our podcast and for the time and the valuable insights you've shared with us. Our podcast will be shared in a worldwide scale. Is there any message you'd like to share to students out there, educators out there?
I think finally, I want to say we have to look at a lot of cultural differences in dealing with artificial intelligence. It exactly on other piece of academic endeavor, there's a lot of cultural issues over there. So I would believe in Canada because our university sector is changing, our composition of students and faculty member are also changing very quickly. So we have to be aware of that on the cultural aspects of using artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ray. And thank you to all our listeners for joining us on this enlightening episode of the AI Purity Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed uncovering the mysteries of AI generated text and the cutting edge solutions offered by AI Purity. Stay tuned for more in depth discussions and exclusive insights into the world of artificial intelligence, text analysis, and beyond. Don't forget to visit our website. That's www.ai-purity.com and share this podcast to spread the word about the remarkable possibilities that AI Purity offers. Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep unmasking the AI. Thank you once again, Dr. William Wei, for being on our podcast. Have an amazing day ahead. Thank you so much for being here.